McDonald's has entered a Minecraft movie universe, and Grimace, Birdie, and Hamburglar just spawned as new collectibles as part of a Minecraft movie meal with your choice of Big Mac or 10-piece chicken McNuggets with spicy nether flame sauce. Participate in McDonald's for a limited time. A Minecraft movie only in theater.
What's up, everybody? You are now listening to the Success Playbook Podcast, where we talk about pop culture, life and career success, and of course, we're going to talk about who got dunked on the night before. I'm your host, Chanel S. Reynolds, and I've been in the sports industry for several years. My goal is to take what I've learned from years of dominating the sports industry as a Black woman to help my listeners defy the odds and level up in life and career. Now, let's dig into this week's episode. Hey, what's up, everybody? You are now listening to the Success Playbook Podcast. Listen, this guest has no need for an introduction, but just for kicks and giggles, I'm going to. This is Rocsi Diaz. She is an icon. She is a legend, and she is killing the game. Rocsi, what's going on? How are you?
Thank you. Thank you for that introduction.
Listen, it's so much more I could have said.
Thank you. That's very kind of you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Well, it's really a pleasure to have you here on the show today. Listen, I want to dig all up into your background, but before I do that, I have a little game I like to play with my guests. Is that cool with you?
Okay, yeah.
Okay. So it's called This or That, right? So I'm going to present you with two different options. You're going to select one of the two, and then you're going to tell us why.
Okay.
Really safe, okay?
Okay.
All right, Martin or Fresh Prince?
Ooh, you said safe. You said this was going to be safe. That's not even fair. Oh gosh. Fresh Prince.
Okay, tell us why.
I think I remember growing up more watching Fresh Prince of Bel-Air at the time than Martin, because it was a little bit over my head, you know.
Okay.
Being younger. So younger, I resonated with Fresh Prince more, loved Will Smith, of course. But as I got older, I appreciated Martin more, because then it was like, oh, I understand these jokes and I get it now. But two classic shows that you really put together.
Yeah.
That wasn't even easy. That's like
Nah, they're definitely neck and neck, and both icons and culture staples. So listen, kudos to both of them.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, next question. All right, I know you have a co-host who is also a legend. So answer this at your own risk.
Okay.
NFL or NBA?
Ooh. NFL.
Okay, tell us why.
Yeah, I'm a football fan. I like watching football. I'm a Saints fan. Growing up, I was a Cowboys fan. So I actually grew up watching Dion and Emmett and Michael Irvin and all of them play and Troy Aikman. So that was my era of football with the Cowboys. But growing up in New Orleans too, I'm a Saints girl. So I like football. You know, I was a cheerleader in high school. So I learned football, learning the plays and everything, because you got to know what's going on in the game when you're a cheerleader. So yeah.
Yes.
I never cheerleaded when it was basketball season, because it was during soccer season and they always collided for me. So I would always go off to the soccer field, and I never really cheered for basketball. So yeah, that's it.
Okay, I love that. Well, thank you for playing our game. See, that was safe.
I thought he was going to go in. I was like, whoa.
I
appreciate safe.
Also, well, really, again, excited to have you here on the show. And you talked a little bit about this in our previous question, but I want to dig into, who is Rocsi, right? I just learned that you play soccer. I had no idea about that. I learned you were a cheerleader in high school. So tell us about your upbringing, where you grew up, and also your sports background.
Not much of a sports background. Just soccer was one of those things I played in high school, and you had to run track and ran hurdles. My short self ran hurdles. And we had to run and we had to do cross country. That was just all part of soccer training for us. So that was just my high school days. And I always was a cheerleader, always loved cheering. Actually tried out for the dance team, and the dance team instructor sent me over to the cheerleading coach. Like, that's more suit, because I had no rhythm at all. It was like, you go over there. It was a better fit for me. I grew up in New Orleans, and I love my city. I love New Orleans. I love the 504. I can cook all the food. I can cook Creole New Orleans food better than I could cook Spanish food.
Oh, wow.
For sure. Oh yeah, mushrooms and grits. My go-to dish that is requested by everybody is gumbo. Everybody always wants me to make gumbo for them. But I always tell everybody gumbo is very expensive to make. So y'all gonna have to chip in with some coins in order for me to make it. There ain't no way I'm making pasta gumbo for everybody whenever they feel like it.
I love that. Okay, so you have to be a little athletic in order to play soccer, right? So you said you were a track girly, you were a soccer girly, you were a cheerleading girly. Okay, did this like did you kind of was this an acquired skill or did you grow up kind of in an athletic household or tell me a little bit about that.
I grew up in the 90s, so there wasn't much. There was no social media to keep you on your phones. There was we barely just got the big block cell phones and the pagers and all of that stuff in my era. So, after school activities was just something that you did. It was just part of the lifestyle, and soccer was very multicultural. Um, it was definitely like the multicultural club for me in high school growing up. And I genuinely liked it. I'm a Latina, soccer's in my background and my blood. So we had fun playing it and doing it, and it just had a lot of endurance back then to be a runner. Now, I can't run to save my life now, but back then, yeah, totally, totally. But yeah, always been a sports fan, like
Yeah,
sports adjacent. I admire what athletes can do, definitely.
100%. I love that. So this segment of my show is now called Put Some Respect on My Name. So, listen, you're a household name. Again, like I said, you're an icon. But for for some of our listeners who may not be familiar with everything that you've done, everything that you've accomplished, this is your time to talk your talk. So, tell us a little bit about some of those accomplishments that you're really proud of, and just go through the list.
Oh wow. I'm just very humble and I'm grateful to continue to be able to do what I love. I sincerely love what I do. Every opportunity that I've had has been absolutely amazing. 106 in Park, of course, being the foundation to it all. Radio really being the foundation to my career, but 106 in Park really the one that put me on the map in television. And then from there, going to Entertainment Tonight and winning my first Emmy, hopefully first of many. And now, continuously working and grinding and being at Good Morning America, GMA3, and ABC News Live. Uh, I mean, I just like pinch me, like, come on, GMA, like that's like the Don Dada, the mothership of all morning shows, news outlets, at the end of the day. So I'm just happy that my audience and my fan base, we're all growing up together, and what we used to watch and listen to hasn't really changed. I'm still interviewing the same people I interviewed at 106, but now I'm doing it at GMA, and it's kind of cool because it's like, oh well, people know me and they know that, hey, Roxy's cool. It's like when I see 50 up at GMA and it's like, you doing an interview, right? It's gonna be you. And it's not always me, but they're like, no, wait, Roxy, it should be Roxy. And that feels good to me because producers see that and they're like, they don't all of them know my background or my history or the 106 in Park days. So it feels good when artists still are like, wait, but we want her. We feel comfortable with her. And to me, that's the biggest blessing in my career, to be honest. To be requested is always an honor.
I love that. So, and you kind of mentioned it, but look, we feel like we grew up with you, right? So I remember rushing home after school, just, making sure that we caught 106 in Park. So, I mean, how does it feel to you to really, be a staple in the culture? Like I mentioned Martin and Fresh Prince, but 106 in Park is also a staple in Black households. So, how does that feel?
Yeah. Blessed. Like, that show did so much for all of us, not just the people that worked it. That show did something for the culture, kind of like a safe place for us to know, we're not going to be put on the spot, but if we are, it's with a loving care and in a safe environment, um, it means so much. It's still the fact that the show has been off air for so long and people still talk about 106 as if it was yesterday. It just is a testament to the success of the show and what it meant to so many people. But that show was really to me, it was all about the fans. It was all about the audience. the audience made the show, because they negated who was cool, who was not, who stayed on the countdown, who didn't. Like that was all y'all. That had nothing to do with us up there. We were just
McDonald's has entered a Minecraft movie universe, and Grimace, Birdie, and Hamburglar just spawned as new collectibles in the overworld. Now for a limited time, you can get one of 6 McDonald's collectibles when you order a Minecraft movie meal. Ooh. With your choice of Big Mac or 10-piece chicken McNuggets with spicy nether flame sauce. Available now in a biome near you. Oh, and at your local McDonald's. I participate in McDonald's for a limited time. A Minecraft movie only in theaters.
able to, traffic control the situation. And it was an honor to do so for so many years.
Listen, I love it. And like you did that. You did that. So, I mean, I know that was like one of your first big opportunities. So how did an opportunity like that come about? Was there a series of internships, or like, how did you navigate through that career-wise?
On 106?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, they had a new face talent search for 106 and Park. It was like, who wants to be a VJ? And I think they saw over 10,000 people across the country. They went to 5 major cities. Terrence, his story was even crazier because he tried out in New York and didn't get through, and drove down to Atlanta and then tried out again in Atlanta and ended up going all the way to the end of everything. And myself, I tried out in Chicago at the time because I was doing radio in Chicago, and I slept outside in the cold, and I just wanted to be one of the first 100 people that they saw. And then, yeah, I was 79 in line. I think I remember somewhere I still have that number somewhere. But yeah, and out of 10,000, they picked 10 people to do like a challenge throughout the week. And out of 10 people, they picked 2. And Terrence and I were the 2 people they picked to be the host of 106 and Park. So, yeah, it was, we were thrown into a world that neither one of us had a background in. I had a radio background. Terrence had some radio background too, some experience also. But it wasn't like we'd ever done television before. So definitely thrown to the wolves for real. Like that doesn't happen anymore. You're not gonna see brand new talent like plucked up off the street and hosting like the #1 talk show on a network. Like it's unheard of.
So with this show, I love it because it's so niche. So I get to tell stories of success, of course, using sports and entertainment. But I also have a lens where there's like a career focus, right? And I'm giving advice to some of those people who are younger in their career path. So mass communications is such a popular major. And I know I have a lot of those folks listening to me. So what advice would you give to them as they, try to enter into the industry and then begin to navigate through?
I always tell young people, use your social media as your calling card, as your platform. Don't use it for stupid stuff. Watch what you post because they're scrubbing out there, and companies are trying to figure out who you are. Create your own audience. If you're a journalist, and then post your stories, post your point of view, post your thoughts. Consistency is everything. If you're going to do a show or a segment or whatever, it's once a week. Keep that once a week promise to yourself and to your audience, so that they can depend on you. And then also don't be like, go to your local markets, go to your local news stations, go to your local radio stations and see if there's an opportunity to work the boards or get on the street team, or I don't care what it is, be an assistant, get in the door. I got in the street team at my local radio station in Dallas when I was living there at the time. That's how I started. I was on a street team putting up flyers, banners, tables, setting up things for the disc jockeys, like all of that stuff. Then I learned how to board operate. They taught me how to do that, and it was a year or 2 years before I even got to crack a mic. And it was only because one of the program directors was like, I like your raspy voice. It was like, go, like, I want to hear you. And so I was reading commercials and liners, and then it was crack the mic, go do it. And so but I had already had that training of seeing all, the personalities and working with them and working the boards and knowing what to do, how to formulate a segment, how to do a prize giveaway and all that stuff. So you can learn so much at your local level. And to me, radio was like by far the best teacher in my whole entire career.
I love that.
and similar to what I say, like, don't shy away from some of those, I call them minor league opportunities, right? Everybody wants to be in the big leagues. Everybody wants to be at an NFL, NBA team. Don't shy away from your single A baseball team. So 100%, I totally agree with everything you just said. Um, Statistically, we know that Black women and Latina women, they experience some of the most, right, microaggressions, discrimination, et cetera, in the workplace, right? So specifically, if we want to look at a lens of media and entertainment, we'd love to hear more about like how you've navigated through that, and any advice that you may have to someone that may be listening out there.
Um, it is challenging. It is challenging out there. Nothing worth wanting and going for is going to be easy. And it sucks that as a woman and as a minority woman at that, a woman of color, that it is harder. It is more challenging for us. You know, I don't let it get to me though. Don't let that be my narrative. I don't. I don't look at who I am, where I'm from, and my ethnicity and my sex to be my handicap. I'm not gonna allow that to be my story. You know, so I walk up into any room with my head held up really high. And at this point in my life, I've been doing this for so long, I don't have nothing to prove to nobody. I'm more authentically 100% Roxy, more Roxy than Roxy was 20 years ago. So I sincerely, with all due respect, like if something's not going my way, then it wasn't meant for me, you know? And if somebody wants to give me a hard time or have an opinion about me or judge or cast their own idea of who I am, that's your problem because I know who I am. I have no problem with anybody. So anybody else's opinion on me or who they think I am that's their opinion of me, but that's not my opinion on me. And I'm not going to let it absorb into my atmosphere either. I think that's something that comes with age. I think that's something that comes with a lot of stuff that you've dealt with in the industry, you know? Um, and I don't say it arrogantly or cocky. It's just, I ain't got time for, if there's one thing I don't have time for, that is for that. We got time for a lot of stuff, but we don't got time for wasting time and losing patience or peace over bull stuff. Just that's not in my recipe.
Period. And that's not cocky at all. Like you put in the work. So
yeah, it's you know, I had another young lady was telling, like, I just don't subscribe to words like hard or you know, lazy or you know, too difficult or whatever. Yeah, that's gonna happen. Or you know, oh well, it's not happening for me because it's not your time yet. Are you putting in the work? Did you shoot in the gym? Like you gotta put in the work. You know, there's so many talented people out there. There's people that were probably in that new face line that were way more talented than me, you know. But did you stay consistent? How do you craft your job? How do you craft your talent? You know, and for me, radio crafted my talent. It kept me consistent, you know, all the time. For people that aren't even working in the business, look, everybody and their mama got a podcast right now. Like, but that's practice. And that's you cultivating your audience at the same time. So I don't have time for people that don't put in the same work that I do. Like, it's beneath me. Like, and then especially for somebody to formulate an opinion without even actually knowing who I am, I can't help you. I'm sorry. God bless you. Have a nice day.
God bless you. Have a nice day. Yes. So one thing that we also like to talk about on the show is the art of taking L's, right? So the art of taking L's is a term that I created. It is trademarked in the United States. And it simply is how we perceive and react to some of our losses, and we allow them to make us better as people. I would love to hear about maybe if you had a significant, maybe perceived failure or perceived L, which actually ended up to be one of the best things that ever happened to you and thrusted you into your next level of success.
You know, being in this industry, you get a lot of no's or L's, if you want to call them L's. You know, you don't get the part, you don't get the role. Like I was up for X Factor as the host for their first season. They had a host. They decided not to go. They decided to keep it with a single person, and then went all the way through. Simon actually picked me, but then made me audition again for the second season, only to where they ended up choosing a Kardashian instead of me. And I was like, oh, okay, well, but it wasn't meant for me. Because guess what? That show ended like It lasted one more season or something. After that, it didn't even last. So it's like not every loss that you get has anything to do with your talent or who you are. That door, that opportunity just was not your opportunity. It wasn't meant for you. So I don't take any of those personally anymore. There was a time where I would let that eat me up. I'd be like, damn, I didn't get that role. Damn, I didn't get that job. Now I look at it as if I didn't get that job or if that deal didn't come through, that's only because something bigger and better is about to happen. And I'm a full believer in that. So I don't allow myself to sit in the oh, I didn't get that position or I didn't get that role or, why didn't I get that phone call? Why didn't they pick me? Because it wasn't my blessing. So, and they say you're not, supposed to covet thy neighbor. So you can't covet that situation that didn't happen for you or, let it lurk and linger for so many years because what the hell? Like, come on, move on.
This episode is brought to you by Audi. The road is calling. Embrace the thrill of the drive with the all-new, fully electric Audi Q6 e-tron. Featuring effortless power, serious acceleration, and advanced Audi tech. It's not just a new EV, it's a new way to experience driving. The all-new, fully electric Audi Q6 e-tron is here. The next chapter of Audi starts now.
Hashtag move on. It's so many one-liners in this one episode. I'm just excited to chop this up and create my social content. So I would love to know who has been your favorite interview so far throughout your entire career. Maybe give us a starting lineup, top 5. You don't have to pick one. Maybe top 5 starting lineup.
I'm gonna start with We Got Time Today since we are here for that. And then the season 1 has been absolutely amazing. We've had so much fun. My favorite interview so far this season was it's just our recent episode was with Nick Cannon because we had, I didn't let Nick breathe. I was like, nah. First of all, I know you and I know you've talked about your relationship and your family dynamic for a lot of people, but no, I know you, sir. So we really about to talk about how you was a sucker for love. He wasn't even this guy 20 years ago. And now you over here making olive branches, left and right. What's happening? So Nick was fun because that's family. And every episode of We Got Time Today, I feel like our guests have more and more fun with us. I wouldn't know who Dion's favorite person would be, but yeah, Nick so far has been my favorite. But out of my career, I'd say it because although it wasn't a long interview, it was a humbling, and my favorite interview was when I was requested by the White House to interview First Lady Michelle Obama and Dr. Jill Biden. And then I was requested again by the White House to cover the Easter egg roll because the Obamas personally wanted me there. And just being in that line of press people that just is like thousands of people around the world to cover this one event and the Obamas to be walking down that pathway and literally the girls running up to me saying, Rocsi, because they watched 106 in Park. Crazy. First Lady Michelle Obama telling me how she used to have to turn the TV off, make sure they did their homework before they even turned on 106 in Park. And having, President Obama just walk up to me, be like, what up, Rocsi? How you doing? And it's just like, and doesn't speak to nobody else in that line, but just comes up and says hi to me. And it's just like, I'll never, ever, ever forget that. Like, I'll never forget those moments. Cher, another one that happened recently last year. Her publicist and manager and everybody was like, no, you're not doing interviews, not talking to nobody, whatever. And I'm just standing there like, and her boyfriend literally was like, no, you have to talk to Rocsi. Like that's important for the culture. And then she looked at me and grabbed my hand and said, come on, let's go do this interview. And then her manager was like, no interviews. And she's like, I'm a grown ass woman. I'm gonna go ahead and talk to, what's she gonna do to me? What's your problem? And Cher stood up and she did the interview with me. And I was just like, I was floored. I was floored and I was really, really humble. So it's not so much of favorite interviews. It's just favorite moments when the person you're interviewing stands up or sticks out for you. And it makes you feel good about what you do.
And that just speaks to the impact that you've had on the industry. So, without any further delay, I would love to hear what you have going on now. I'm so excited to continue to tune into your new show with Deion Sanders. So, tell us where we can find you, your social media handles, all the things.
Well, We Got Time Today is the show. It is on Tubi. We have new episodes that drop every Tuesday at 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Our next guest is the legendary Pam Grier. So it's iconic. It's iconic to say the least. And we're wrapping up season 1 quickly. But you can check out all the episodes, everything that we've shot this season so far. And in between that, I am on GMA3, ABC News Live. You'll see me on the Good Morning America platform. And I have so much time there. And I mean, so much fun there. And then season 2 of my podcast will be coming out, More to the Story. So a lot of conversations that continue to happen. And I just love putting out content for you guys. Always, you can find me, Rocsi Diaz, across all social media handles.
How do you not run out of things to say? Like, that's so many things.
That's a blessing, because sometimes people ain't got nothing going on, and then you're like, oh, I don't know. My least favorite question, I think, is what's next, because then it doesn't give the energy to what's happening now and the projects that we're having. Like, I'm so proud of We Got Time Today and what Deion Sanders has done, and creating a spot, an environment that a TV platform that there's not a lot of shows out there for us. And this is a TV show. So to have a space, that's filling a void where the culture can come and have conversations and chill and lay back, it's always a good time. So we're really proud of the whole entire show and what Tubi, entrusted us with.
And I saw in one of the more recent episodes where you had Mandy and Weezy on the show. What was it like working with them? Because they're also iconic. And so tell us a little bit more about that, how that came about. And then they're always going to talk about some of the taboo topics. So how did you keep it together while you were interviewing them?
So I told our talent person, and I told our producer, I was like, these girls are off the chain. I was like, I would love for them to be on the show. And come to find out, I think Mandy is friends with Deandra, Dion's daughter. And so she gave Dion a little bit of heads up, but Dion wasn't ready for the smoke. He wasn't ready for the smoke. And so the look of astonishment, embarrassment, shock, surprise, flabbergasted, all the things that Dion was going through during that show was hilarious to me. I cracked up I had such a good time. I just loved it because it put him in kind of a semi uncomfortable position, but Dion rolls with all the punches. So he just is he was eager to learn. And he told me after that show, he went back and started watching some of their podcasts and their YouTube and their Instagram page. And he said he went down the rabbit hole. He was like, Jesus. So, and I was like, I told you so. These girls are legit. So that was a really fun episode. Yeah. Yeah, it was fun.
And then on a more serious note, I know you all had Dr. Bryant as well.
That laid it on him.
Laid it on him.
Yes.
So what was that like? And of course, Dr. Bryant, very intellectual, has a wealth of knowledge from a mental health space. So what was it like to invite her onto the platform and have her contribute to the culture as well?
Again, I think that she's amazing. I think that what she speaks is honest and true. What was so impressive to me about Dr. Bryant when she came to our show, I know she's an intellect. I know she's a beautiful, smart woman. I didn't know she'd go toe to toe with scripture with Dion though. I mean, they were back and forth, scripture to scripture, quoting. And I always admire anybody that can really quote scripture like that and know verse by verse, that just shows your level of commitment to your faith. And to me, that was the funnest part because they were going toe to toe, scripture to scripture. And then she was letting them have it. That was the least amount of words that I've ever said on We Got Time Today. I just sat back and let him get the smoke. Let him catch all the smoke. I was just I was like a tennis match, just watching. All I kept saying was, we'll be right back. That was the most I said during that episode because she was speaking facts, So Dr. Bryant's amazing. I look forward to having her again on the show. Like, it's people that you know that are going to come back for sure.
100%. Awesome. Well, listen, thank you so much for sharing. It was wonderful to connect with you. It was wonderful hearing about your show. I look forward to continuing to tune in. And to my audience, make sure you all tune in and continue to support Rocsi.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And congratulations on your show. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
McDonald's has entered a Minecraft movie universe, and Grimace, Birdie, and Hamburglar just spawned as new collectibles as part of a Minecraft movie meal with your choice of Big Mac or 10-piece chicken McNuggets with spicy nether flame sauce.
Participate in McDonald's for a limited time. A Minecraft movie only in theaters.